at the
Muhammad
time.
is the guy that started this religion.
Muhammad is the guy that
way
came
back
with
when,
these
right?
rules.
So is it true that Muhammad used to have a whole bunch of wives, including little girls?
No, that's not true.
That's not true either?
No.
How do you know that's not true?
Well, how do you know it's not? Because neither one of us was there. But in what I was reading in the authentic text of the story of Muhammad, I was like, wow, the guy it didn't make sense.
So he wasn't a freak?
No, not from what I was reading.
Really? So I have with me today Omar Regan. He is a director, an actor, and a comedian. Thank you for coming.
Hey, man, thank you for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate it so much.
I like what you're doing. Look at you, man. You get your own studios, man.
Ain't that something?
Yeah, I'm proud of you.
Black on the outside, white on the inside.
Hey, whatever works.
So I read that you grew up in Michigan.
Yes.
And you grew up a Muslim.
Yes.
Are you still a Muslim?
Yes.
And
well, quote unquote.
What does that mean?
That means that I don't like labels of religion, because I believe that religion is like man-made system of rules. And I believe that the labels that we all have is what's dividing us. And so I'm going back to the actual meaning of it's an Arabic word. What does it mean? It means a peaceful person.
You got married, I read. You were married once.
Yes.
And then while married to one woman, you married another one.
I did.
You got married at 19?
17.
Got married at 19 with the first woman.
17 with the first one.
And then 19 with the second one.
Yes.
Well, that's because you were a Muslim?
That partially. We blamed it on being Muslim, right? so that we can excuse, like what I find that a lot of people do religiously, because we weren't legally married. So like
you weren't legally married to either one of the women?
Right. So
did they both live in the same home with you?
No. They each had their own homes, each had their own environments.
And did they know you were involved with both of them?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
So you were like, go and be with one, and then, hey, good night, I'm going to be with Sally?
Yes.
Sister Sally.
I mean, pretty much.
But you weren't legally married to either one?
Right, no.
Under the Muslim law, were you legally married?
Under legal Muslim law, yes.
Oh, I see.
It's like if you're at the church, the community recognizes that this is your spouse.
And that you have more than one.
And that you have more than one. So then the community is holding you responsible for caring for them if you take on this responsibility. So the rule is, if you want to have more women, you got to make sure that you honor and take care of them mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and financially, and sexually, of course. So if you're doing that, then you're going to be successful. If you're not, then the whole community they like, hey, what's going on? She's not happy. Yeah,
oh.
She's not happy. Somebody has to hold you accountable for you adopting to live this lifestyle to care for more than one woman at a time publicly.
Why did you think you wanted more than one?
It was happening all around me. And so, I was indoctrinated with the idea of more, I was indoctrinated with you could do this under the laws of God. But really, myself, not even blaming anything on that, like when I come to know, it was just because I wanted more. It was like, ooh, she's cute. Oh, and then she's cute. And if they say that I can have it, yay.
So, like, the women that you were with, are they with other men now?
They went on to live their life. I don't know their personal life.
Do they normally, when men break up with women in Muslim religion, do those women get with other men and the men get with other women?
It's just the same as everybody else. You know what I mean? If they meet somebody and they move on with their life, then.
But I thought if women who've already been with a man should get with another man in the Muslim world, isn't she stoned because she's slut?
No. Oh. No, I never heard of this.
Oh, you never heard that?
No.
How does Allahu Akbar feel about you leaving your woman?
Oh, you mean like does divorce?
Yeah.
Yeah, divorce, like far as in the rules of God.
Of that religion.
Yeah, right. So divorce is frowned upon or
Right.
disliked, but it's permissible. So then now you have to, if you can part in kindness or if you can stay in kindness, the rule is kindness.
Oh.
That's the rule.
So if you went back to that community today, they wouldn't stone you or anything for leaving the family?
Yeah, there's no stoning.
Oh, did
Yeah.
they shoot you?
Huh?
They throw you
No.
off a building or something?
No, there's no violence.
How many women have you been with?
Oh, man. Let me see. I can't count like Wilt Chamberlain. But no, I think I may have said 1.5.
100 and a half?
1.5.
1,000?
1.5.
What does that mean?
I just throwing you off.
Oh.
I've only been married, I would say now, I'm counting, what, 4 times?
You've been married 4 times?
Yes.
And how many women have you been with?
I didn't do too much of that stuff.
Oh, you did not?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't do too much of it. I'm grateful for
Yeah.
for the having some self-discipline,
Good, man.
Yeah.
And so are you expecting 7 virgins when you go to heaven?
Where, what?
7
No,
virgins?
I'm
Are
not.
you
Oh, I get what you're saying.
are you the Louis Farrakhan kind of Muslim?
No.
Or the overseas kind of Muslim?
No, I get what you're saying. You're talking the cultural ideas of what's the propaganda and the that they're putting out among the from the Middle East. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, it's not like that.
No, it's not. It's not even like that in Islam at all.
But they do kill thinking that they're going to get 7 virgins when they get to heaven, right?
No, they don't.
But I heard them say it.
You heard people saying that, and I mean, they may not have been mentally balanced, but you didn't hear it actually from the word.
Why is it that in the Muslim religion you're allowed to have more than 1 woman at a time? What's the purpose of that?
Well, it was never about it being in the Muslim religion. It was only people were doing it. It was like
Within that religion?
no. People were like, people were doing it and it was unregulated. It wasn't disciplined. Like you heard of Anna and the King? You heard of all of these people, these religious, quote unquote, religious people who have multiple wives and concubines and
I see.
was like, so it wasn't regulated. This was happening already. This is not, Muslims didn't start.
What's the difference
polygyny
between your
or-
religion and Louis Farrakhan? Is it the same?
No, Louis Farrakhan, it's the same. He's more or less going under the name of Nation of Islam. He may have some, he follows the same. He's just some different other opinions.
Do your sect get along with his sect?
Yes. It may be some individuals that don't, but like, maybe some, I don't know if you would meet some other Christians that you don't get along with,
Right.
or may not get along with you, but it's still based on the same understanding, but maybe having some different opinions.
Do your Muslim love the Jews?
Well, yeah, the Muslims love everybody.
Do they love the Jews?
Yeah, there's no
They
difference
don't
in
see the
people.
Jews as their enemies, infidels?
No.
Have you ever been taught that while growing up, that according to the Muslim religion, Christians and Jews are infidels?
No.
You love the Christian too?
Yes. Christians
So
and Jews, even in the Quran, it doesn't tell you that. It only talks about specific people that was going against God. But as a whole, no.
So you were never taught that the Christians and Jews are infidels and worthy of death?
No.
So,
Because that doesn't go, it's not in the Testaments at all.
but
that
I've read it
Christians
in the
and Jews-
Quran before that Christians and Jews are infidels and worthy of death, and that you could befriend them, you can lie. No, it's teaching that the Quran teaches that you can even lie.
No.
How do you feel about that?
No.
It said you can lie to them
No,
and deceive them.
I
read
understand. Yeah, I understand what you're saying about like, the way that somebody may have translated to manipulate the words.
that. So, in your religion, the Muslim religion, do you see the Christian God and the Jewish God the same as the Allah God?
Yeah, it's all one
It's
God.
the same God.
It's the same
And
God.
so Christians are going to heaven?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of Christians in heaven.
And the Jews too?
And there's going to be a lot of Jews
Really?
in heaven. Yeah.
Do they know you feel this way?
Yeah, I was there.
I dare you to go in a mosque and say this.
I said it. I mean, because sometimes they make me speak. So there's Quran that actually says there are families that the people who believe in one God, because it's not about these labels. He says the ones who believe in people who believe in one God, who aspire to be good, who enjoy the good things and stay away from the bad stuff, the evil. This is morality, what we're talking about. All of you guys are families of the same scripture.
So
This is what it says.
So even though the Quran says Christians and Jews are infidels, worthy of death, you could befriend them, deceive them, lie to them, to get them, to entrap them. You're saying that when it was translated, whoever translated put that in there, but that wasn't
I have never read that at all, even in the translation. I have never even read that in the translation.
And if it is in there, are you saying that's a mistranslation?
I would definitely say that, because I've read the Quran. I mean, we have to read the Quran every year. I've read the Quran, and I have never read like what you're saying. I have never read that, because it definitely contradicts. It contradicts all the other verses. It doesn't make sense. So it's almost like I was having this conversation with this guy who was like, "Oh, the Quran says you could beat your women, right?" And I was like, "No, it doesn't say that." And he was like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, he said he pulled up this verse, right? And I was like, "Oh, I know this verse." And so I'm saying the Arabic verse, "Yadribuhunna." And so he was like, "Okay." And so I said, "Look at this." I had to show him, because I know he didn't know Arabic. The word "daraba," right, is in the same chapter once again. And guess what it's translated as?
What?
Leave and go abroad.
Oh, I see. So Muhammad is the guy that started this religion.
Muhammad is the guy that
way
came
back
with
when,
these
right?
rules.
So is it true that Muhammad used to have a whole bunch of wives, including little girls?
No, that's not true.
That's not true either?
No.
How do you know that's not true?
Well, how do you know it's not? Because neither one of us was there. But in what I was reading in the authentic text of the story of Muhammad, I was like, wow, the guy it didn't make sense.
So he wasn't a freak?
No, not from what I was reading.
Really?
And guess what?
But you heard that about him, right?
No, I heard those scandals.
Right.
So but I tend to do my own research.
Right.
And I've also been there. So what I do know is it's kind of hard for a freak or a freak or what do you call them?
You had a lot of young girls.
Not just a freak or what do you call them? A pedophile, to gain a following of 1 million. Especially, it's more women Muslims than it is men. So something is missing there.
Right, but over the other countries, Muslim women don't have any rights. They have to dress head to toe. They can't drive. They can't. If they
you talk about Saudi Arabia.
If they're not a virgin, you can't marry them, and all that stuff.
Well,
what's the difference between that Muslim religion and yours?
Well, what you're talking about has nothing to do with Muslim religion. What you're talking about has to do with different people's culture. So different people's culture and different backgrounds, and they may be Muslim, that's still living more culture than they are the rules of Islam. That's not even true, because the women have rights everywhere. I've been to Saudi Arabia, and if you went there, you'd be like, oh wow, this is not at all what I heard, the scandals. I've been to Dubai, I've been to Muslim countries, I've been to Jordan. There's women without wearing hijab. There's women with hijab. They're just living like everybody else.
Are they allowed to drive and all that?
Well, I don't know about them driving in Saudi Arabia because I just heard all of that new stuff, and so maybe they lifted the laws. But I know the story of the driving. Now watch this. I know the scandal, but the story. The story was, the king said women shouldn't drive because he was honoring women. And the fact that treating every woman like a celebrity, he was making them have a male driver to take them wherever they want to go. And somebody came later and used it in a chauvinistic way. But the base of it, of where it come from, it was something that he was doing as an honorable thing. And then another person came into, in charge or whatever, as we all see and happen.
Do other people know about this? I've never heard this before.
Yes, other people know about it. Other people know about it, but the problem is that's not getting the noise.
But I've interviewed a lot of Muslims of all, different races, and they don't seem to know about this.
Well, I don't know if they've been there, because I've been there.
No, they're from there.
I've been there several times.
But they're from there too. They just come over here to visit. They live over there.
Oh, well, who did you have? That's
people.
Interesting. I would like to talk to them
Check
too.
out, look on my channel, you'll see them.
Okay.
So let me ask.
I'm glad I can bring something new, because I'm like, yeah, dude, this is amazing. But it's all history.
Do you, as a Muslim, do you support homosexuality?
I don't support the act.
Is it wrong?
I don't support the act of homosexuality, far as men and men are this here of their having sexual relationships with each other.
How about women and women?
Or women and women.
Lesbians.
Right, or women and women. I believe in the order of life, that God created life. In the scriptures, he says that he created a male, then he created a female as partners to each other. But
under your religion, is it considered evil?
I mean, just the same as in the Bible.
How about under your Muslim religion? Is this considered?
It's just inside of the Quran. All it tells us is, it doesn't say that it's evil. It says that you are doing something that God didn't order, that God didn't order to be happening.
But do they call it evil?
That's all they say. In the Quran, it doesn't call it evil.
Did they change that? Because it used to be in there that it was evil, and they would throw the homosexuals from the buildings.
That's not in the Quran. I think what happens is, unfortunately,
you may be a Christian and think that you're a Muslim.
Well, you know what my mother said?
You don't seem to know any of those things.
You know what my mother said? My mother said when she became Muslim, she became such a better Christian, right? Because when you start researching and studying, it's too much propaganda and scandal. So what happens is you have to really do, and this is credit to my stepfather. So are you saying
that the Muslims accept homosexuality as a norm?
No, I'm not saying that they accept homosexuality as a norm, because they have to say exactly what God says.
Right.
That you're doing something that I didn't ordain. I didn't create this like this.
Right.
I created male for female and female for male as partnership. I didn't create male and male. So he told Lot, he says, go and remind them and offer here's how Muslims can't be homophobic, because he says, offer your daughters. This is in the Quran. Offer your daughters to them, to the males who were going after the males. So in Islam, I don't know where.
They just like offering a Muslim a pork sandwich, a pig sandwich.
But that's the point that I was making to you. Where the throwing off of the building, all of that scandal stuff, it's not in the basis of.
That is true overseas, I know for sure.
No, because if you go to Saudi Arabia, there's a lot
not just Saudi Arabia. They're throwing the homosexuals off the building everywhere.
But it has nothing to do with, they're maybe homophobic. It has nothing to do with a religion or what God said or what Mohamed said. They'll be throwing them off the religion because of their own hate. We have to identify, the Quran tells us life is sacred.
So let me just, because of time, as a Muslim, do you see homosexuality as normal or abnormal?
It's abnormal. It's not natural. It wasn't the nature
not of God.
Right. It's not of God. That's of man. That's a great way of putting it.
And so, if a Muslim was discovered to be a homosexual, what would happen to him?
Well, I mean, nothing. I mean, that's his.
Would they be rejected?
No, that's his. Those are his between him and his creator. There's nobody here governing what you do with your sex life or who you choose to be with.
Could a Muslim bring his homosexual lover to church?
I don't
to the
believe.
mosque.
Yeah, no, I don't believe that he would do that. Like, as this is my lover, but I mean, and then make it public. Like, I also believe that there's a respect factor. If this was God's ordinance, and then as a human being, you choose to do your thing, that's your right.
So let me ask this: as a
your right.
Muslim,
But you don't have to
as a
promote
Muslim,
it
is
publicly.
homosexuality evil?
No, I can't say that homosexuality is evil because the
Is
Quran
it
doesn't
wrong?
tell us that it's evil,
Is
but
it
it's
wrong?
definitely not of God.
Is it wrong?
Yeah, it's wrong. It's not.
How about
you don't
abortion?
do this.
Do you
This is-
support abortion?
abortion? Yeah, we've been taught do not kill children on the fear of sustenance, or, don't take life. The whole thing is about life. Don't do that. Now you have all of these different, Jesse, you got all of these different loopholes that even among Muslims they talk about. Well, it's not life if it's not a full body. So then you have a discussion of people are saying, I didn't abort a child if I thought I might get pregnant and I took a pill, or if it wasn't at the stage when the soul is entered into it. You have all of these different debates and discussions, and you have different rulings at the same time. If a woman is raped, does she have, and she gets pregnant, did she have to? So all of those things come inside of a different discussion.
Do you love white people?
Well, white people are good people.
You love white people?
Yeah.
Oh. And so
Don't you love white people?
Yeah.
God created
But most
white
black people don't love white people.
Why not?
Because they hate them, they're jealous. They've been lied to about slavery and systemic racism and all that.
I think the whole the misunderstanding that we're being manipulated, because it don't matter. Wrong is wrong, no matter what color. So
right.
white people got creation too.
Do you support Black Lives Matter?
Well, to support it in what way? Like
any
I think that like saying Black Lives Matter, it means that stop killing black people. But as an organization, no, I don't understand all of their politics. I think it's a more political statement that they wanted to make, and they're maybe using some of the unfortunate things that's happening to certain black people in different neighborhoods.
Did you know that Black Lives Matter was started by a bunch of fat black radical lesbians?
No, I
who
didn't know
hate
that.
God, who hate the
I haven't even followed that. I didn't even know that. But is that true? You telling the
Fat
truth right
black radical lesbians.
now? I didn't know.
Yeah. Now that you know, what do you think?
Well, I mean, I wish them all the best, and I'm hoping that morality and integrity and
You
nothing.
can't be moral if you're a lesbian.
Well, people can change.
Well, they haven't yet. Do you believe that racism exists?
I believe racism exists. I do.
You believe there's a such thing called racism?
I do believe there's a such
I
thing
noticed.
as.
Do you believe white supremacy exists?
I believe that the whole. I think as a label, I think there's some white people that feel like they're better than other people. There's some Muslims they feel like they're better than other Muslims. There's some blacks they feel like they're better. I think, but to label things, I like to get away from labeling and say, look. Let's identify who this person is that's doing the wrong, and let's bring him to the carpet. So when we make blanket statements, it's just not. It doesn't help us progress. There's no, what I mean. We need to evolve and come from up under the rhetoric.